Alright, you guys have been seeing a lot of videos recently of this bad boy. The Low-C Super Rock Ray. Check that thing out. But one thing that has kind of been pretty common in the comments, pretty common feedback is, wow, man, that thing's big. Wow, look at that. But also like, well, how big is it really? And so, what I have done here today is I have a lineup of our vehicles all here to look at really what is the scale, right? And people will argue that obviously scale between manufacturers is rough, that, you know, 8 scale or 10 scale doesn't really matter. Man, one thing's bigger than another. But check this out. I thought this was really interesting. So, obviously the big boy of the group, the X-Maxx, right? What scale is the X-Maxx? Max scale. Everybody argues, is it 7th? Is it 6th? What is it? It's not 5th, right? It's not 8th. What is it? But check this out. I have the tires lined up based on the back. This Super Baja Ray is, for all intents and purposes, the same length as the X-Maxx. Width is pretty close. X-Maxx is sitting taller, especially with how I have the suspension sitting right now. As a monster truck, you'd expect it, but 6th scale versus max scale. Pretty dang close, really. I mean, really pretty comparable for vehicles that size. This is the one that really surprises me. This Yeti is an 8th scale rock racer, right? This is a 6th scale rock racer. How are those the same? Now, I've got these huge tires on the Yeti. That's helping out a bunch. That is definitely making the Yeti look bigger. When you back up and you look width-wise, and we can set them nose to tail here in a minute to get an idea. But check that out, like, the Yeti, the chassis of the Yeti is narrower? Definitely. Definitely chassis of the Yeti is narrower than the chassis of the Super Rock Ray. It is a lot wider. There is no question. But from a length, especially with the tires that I have on my Yeti, they're almost identical, just like the X-Maxx. Look, all 3 of those. So we have an 8th scale, a 6th scale, and a max scale, all showing up to be roughly the same size. And then, just so if we had the comparison, Kraton, you can see the length difference there from the Kraton. It's probably just as wide. Again, we'll line them up nose to tail here in a second just to see, but I mean, it's just as wide, but it's obviously a little bit shorter, but it's 8th scale. And then we have a Wraith. We have my 5-year-old stickered up and SMT10, axial SMT10 supercharged Stampede here at the end. So check these 2 10th scales out. No question there's a difference there, right? I mean, this is the big one. Let's take this Stampede. I mean, that is a difference. Some of you guys have been around a while, you'll see there's frequently times in which the X-Maxx is carrying the Stampede back from a bash day. And the Super Rock Ray, definitely capable of the same thing. Look at that. Alright, so I'm going to line these up nose to tail so we can get an idea of that. Lined them up, nose to tail. All of them lined up by this driver's side tire. All the way down. You can get a good difference of height. Get a good height comparison there. Really, my Yeti, that thing is standing tall, man. Of all the vehicles I have, that Yeti is definitely there. But here, now this is the way you see the width. Remember, that side tires are all lined up. Check this out. Low-C is almost a full tire width narrower than the X-Maxx. Low-C and the Yeti, again, check that out. Almost the same size. Almost the exact same size. Kraton, actually wider. And then, of course, you have your Wraith and your Stampede. So anyway, it's interesting. There's just a lot of people asking, hey, how does this thing compare in size? I thought I'd bring this out. I thought I'd do this just so everybody could see it. Alright guys, hope that's helpful.